With every passing second, scientists are getting closer and closer to find intelligent life in the cosmos. But what if they find us first? Or could they be among us already? As Pentagon recently released a 9-page assessment document that confirms 144 unidentified flying objects between 2004 and 2021, they might. In today's video, we'll be painting a picture of the first minutes after aliens arrive. So let's get right into it. The idea that most people have in their mind is that any alien invasion will be led by an entourage of flying saucers or dish-shaped objects. However, Seth Shustak, an astronomer at the SETI Institute, believes this wouldn't be the case. It's not like the hatch would open and we'll see a strange alien paw coming out. According to Seth, aliens would first send probing agents and machines to spy and study our behaviour before they eventually make their move. This is a human trait actually, as NASA and other space agencies are constantly doing the same in hope of the big breakthrough. But back to our case, once aliens have gathered enough information about us, it'd be time to launch an assault on Earth. And that's when we can expect their spacecrafts to emerge from the skies. However, a civilization capable of making the trip has to reach at least Type 2 or Type 3 on the Kardashev scale, meaning that this particular civilization is able to harness all the energy radiated by its own star, or in the case of a Type 3 civilization, all the energy in its galaxy. Latest reports claim that there could be around 36 alien civilizations in the Milky Way galaxy alone. That's well within our neighbourhood, and they could easily decide to make the trip down here and check out what's happening on Earth. Whether they come announced or unannounced, one thing is sure: our first encounter with aliens would be chaotic. They would probably touch down in a deserted part of the world, like the Sahara Desert in Africa or the Chihuahuan Desert in North America, if not multiple places at once. But it doesn't really matter where they choose to land. Being in the age of social media and smartphones, people on the other side of the world would immediately get the footage of what's happening. The most dreaded alien invasion is on. Clips and photos go viral, millions of people watching and commenting. Many are at great panic, while others continue their daily routine as they didn't believe any of the footage is real. Meanwhile, the US government will get briefed by the intelligence community, and all the relevant military forces will be put on high alert. Information from this briefing will most likely be shared with NASA, NATO and other agencies and world superpower countries, including Russia and China, because at that point, all the current fighting between nations will be abandoned, as we will fight together to secure our planet and our existence. The next step would be to set up a special delegation of professionals to meet our uninvited visitors from the world beyond. Delegates would include cosmic scientists, physicists, doctors, psychologists, sign language experts, and a large group of military personnel. The rest of us will most likely be ordered to stay behind closed doors, like we were during the COVID-19 pandemic. The situation paves the way for great riots and plundering, which will create even more turmoil. Panic buying starts. Enormously long lines begin to form at gas stations and stores. People fighting each other for the last piece of food on the shelves and fleeing to where they can feel secure. At that point, stock market would face its biggest fall in human history. Essential services gone, millions terrified, humanity diving into the unknown, and nobody really knows what's gonna happen. The greatest crisis of all time begins to unfold. Trying to give people hope, religious leaders could make their move to be part of the team as well. But chances are their requests will be declined by the military experts, who would classify the mission as a high-risk operation. Meeting a highly intelligent form of life that's potentially way more advanced than us and treating them with religion is far more dangerous than we can risk. And of course, from this point, religion and all that it teaches can go outdated for many people. Losing their last handrail and getting their world concept turned upside down can unleash mass panic and make things even worse. By that time, military-owned autonomous surveillance drones would be sent out to try and get pictures of what these creatures look like. Well, don't expect them to look exactly like what we see in science fiction movies. In contrast, they might share a lot of similarities with humans in terms of their physical body attributes, according to Simon Conway Morris, an evolutionary biologist at Cambridge. If the outcomes of evolution are at least broadly predictable, then what applies on Earth will apply across the Milky Way and beyond, the researcher said. However, it is unlikely that our delegation would be bold enough to get close to them, so the only means of communication with these extraterrestrials might be to set up a command centre and transmit messages through radio waves. However, radio waves have low frequency, so they cannot transmit lots of data at once, and the messages can get diluted as well as it travels further. Imagine sending a hello and it gets diluted to sound like hell. That could be the end of human history. So it's clear that we'll have to be very cautious on every move of ours. If by a stroke of luck we're able to communicate with these aliens, our next move would be to decode their intentions. Despite the similarities that we might share, experts strongly believe that aliens will be superior to us in most aspects. They will have more advanced technology, better weapons, and extraordinary acumen. So most likely, they'll hold the greater advantage during negotiations. It would be like humans meeting trilobites, because aliens could be billions of years more advanced than us. Seth Shustak, a researcher at the SETI Institute, said, "A civilization reading one of our messages could be billions of years ahead of us. If so, they will be vastly more powerful and may not see us as any more valuable than we see bacteria," he added. If that will be the case, we'll be at their mercy. There's a possibility that they'll offer us a peace deal and maybe even propose a collaboration between our planet and theirs. But they might demand some of our natural resources we have here and teach us one or two things in return, especially in the area of technology. But what if they wipe us out? As scary as it sounds, this might actually be the first line of action that aliens would take. Pushkar Ganeshvadaya, the head scientist at the Indian Astrobiology Research Foundation, believes that aliens would have very aggressive instincts, and this would ultimately hinder the flow of communication between our delegation and their representatives. One misinterpreted message or gesture could trigger their anger, and all hell will be let loose. In this case, the US Space Force and other military agencies that have been kept on high alert will be unleashed. Coordinated nuclear attacks will also be launched by the US and other world superpower countries. Theoretically, our firepower should be enough to destroy a small group of visitors and their high-tech spacecrafts, but possibly not before they send a detailed report on our hostility to their commanders on the other end. As you would imagine, this could infuriate the entire population of their civilization, and they would most definitely return to seek revenge. What would be our fate then?